Good afternoon. Welcome to Tampa. Thank you for being here today. We will kick off our week of press conferences by welcoming Wisconsin. We have head coach Kelly Sheffield. Our student athletes are MJ Hammill, Izzy Ashburn, and Sarah Franklin. We'll do questions in a moment. We'd like to start, Coach, by getting your opening thoughts.
I'm very thankful for the city of Tampa for hosting this. We're really excited to get this week started, and the hospitality right when we got off the plane was fantastic, and we're appreciative of the weather as well. But we're just excited to roll. This is a great time of season.
We'll start the questions. We'll ask for a couple of things. First of all, if you could raise your hand and wait to be called on, we'll get a microphone to you, which will be important for the people listening online and also for our transcription service. We'll ask that you limit to one question per time, and we'll also ask that you identify a specific person that you are asking the question to. That will help us answer the questions much more efficiently in the time we have allotted. Who would like to start? We can go in the first row here, please.
Leo Haggerty, Amped Up Sports. For all three of the ladies, working my way down from Izzy. It's a business trip. Still 2 games to play. How do you balance the fact that once in a lifetime trip maybe with, hey, we got to win 2 games yet?
I think our team handles this really well, actually. We acknowledge that we want to take everything in and enjoy the experience and understand how grateful we are for getting to make this trip here and experience the Final Four with this specific group. And we don't shy away from talking about that and taking it all in and looking up at the crowd. But at the same time, we do understand it's a business trip and we're ready to play our best ball yet.
Yeah, I completely agree with Izzy. I think we train for this all season with our mental toughness. We try and get games in the season where we're playing in front of this type of crowd, which I think also helps. So just kind of acknowledging it, but still being able to stay on track with focusing on the next 2 games.
Yeah, just to echo what they said, all year in our gym, we always talk about appreciating the moment, being in the moment, practicing mindfulness. And, I think even our atmosphere at home in Madison is really cool. And so there's, even during matches, like that kind of balance between appreciating just how rare it is that you get to compete with your best friends every day, and then just, going 1 game at a time.
Let's move over to this side in the first row, please.
Oh, wow. Sarah, Mark Stewart, Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel. Sarah, congratulations on the first team All-American. I want to get your thoughts on that, and just is there a challenge to, after you achieve such a big accomplishment of resetting and kind of returning your focus to, tomorrow night?
I think those things are fantastic, and I'm very thankful that I can be put in that position. I think that's a team effort. I wouldn't be able to get that without the team. And I think getting on to the next game is kind of where my head's always at, and there's still a lot of work to do. That's great, but there's still a lot of work to do. We have 2 big games ahead.
To this side in the third row, please.
Lee Feinswalk from volleyballmag.com, and break one of your rules from the get-go. Sarah, I assume that there were other reasons as well, but one of the reasons you transferred was to be in exactly this situation. And then Izzy, if you would recall, after she answers, what you thought when she did in fact transfer to Wisconsin.
So was the question just why I transferred to Wisconsin?
This is why you're here.
Yeah, this is exactly why I'm here. The standard's so high here, and I know that I had a lot in me to be able to push myself even more from where I was at, and every aspect of Wisconsin has been able to put that forward, and it's exciting to see how much more we can achieve here.
Yeah, obviously the transfer portal has done great things for our team, and I'm super grateful for that, especially people in conference playing against people like her, Temi, Carter at different schools and having to scout those people first. It just shows you how incredible they are of players. You can have a game plan for certain people, but they'll just switch it up and do something completely different. It's so hard to defend, and we know that from the other side of the net, and getting to play with them and practice against them every single day at practice, it's such a high level of play. They bring different experiences, different perspectives, and I've played at Wisconsin for 5 years. I know nothing else. They bring in such different perspectives from different programs and experiences, and it's been super fun to play with.
We can go back to the first row here, please.
Coach, I'm going to come to you. You're 30-3. Your last loss was like Penn State and Purdue back-to-back on the road. Since then, you haven't even been pushed to a fifth game. Are you peaking right now?
We are. But I would say all four teams are, and that's you better be when you get to this time of the year. It's what makes the Final Four really exciting. Is you usually have people playing their absolute best at the end of the season. We're certainly one of those teams. We're healthy. We're growing. That's the goal. That's why we try not to panic when things happen during the season. Is that there's what is really critical is how you respond, and that was what we talked about. After those matches, is we got a bunch of competitors on this team. These three are ultra competitive. No, they don't ever want to lose. But the critical thing isn't how whether you lose or not. It's how you respond coming back from that. And I think we've done a really good job with responding throughout the season.
And go to Matt here in the second row, please.
Hey Kelly, Matt Baker with the Tampa Bay Times. Conference realignment is kind of one of the things that's been affecting all programs. I'm curious, how do you think the evolving Big Ten is going to affect you guys, good, bad, or ugly, and your ability to kind of continue competing at this level?
You could have a team ranked, that finishes Big Ten 11th in the conference with a losing record and still be a top 25 team. I mean, that's it's going to be tough. It's going to be challenge. It's going to be awesome. You better be a competitive junkie if you get in here. I'm glad I don't have to worry about that right now.
Stay in that same row right here on the end, please.
Daniel Gilman, 6 rotations. Kelly, here we go. Want to lock in with it. Give me your best comparison for Asia O'Neal, whether it be in the last 2 years or 5 years or 10 years, and then follow up for that. As the match goes on, do you kind of see a matching up with her and Anna, or is that something that you just kind of let go as the match goes on?
It would be unfair to her for me to come up with a comparison because on the spot I would be wrong. She is really good, really talented, as much experience as about any college player has ever had, collegiately and internationally. Her talent, her competitiveness, she doesn't shy away from big moments. She can hit off 1 foot, 2 feet, and she's one of the best blockers in the world. I don't know what else to say about her. It's she's a pretty good server as well. It's our matchups a part of it. I not to be coy, I don't know. I think what you're going to see is you're going to see 4 teams that know who they are, and they're going to go and play the way that that they want to play. They're going to attempt to do that, but then also you get into a match, and if you see something how it's playing out that you're better spinning the dial, I could see all 4 teams doing that. We haven't done a ton of that. We've done a little bit of that, but we practice like that, and it's something that if we spin the dial or flip players, we're totally comfortable doing that. It could play itself out that way.
Let's go to the first row there, please.
If I could ask a question first for Coach Sheffield and then one for Izzy. First for Coach, when you look at how the sport has grown in other leagues and yet you still have 2 Big Ten teams here, just what does that say about the continued success of this conference? And then with Izzy, those 2 matches you lost late that he referenced earlier, was there anything you learned from those matches? I know they were both on the road that kind of helped propel you guys to where you are now.
I think everybody that watches our sport and follows our sport knows how good Big Ten is and how elite it is year in and year out. It's how many teams that have been on this stage in the past. It's how elite Nebraska is and how elite their program is, everything about their program. And Texas has been doing this for 30 years, 40 years at a really, really elite level. And in Pittsburgh, man, I'm not sure anybody's playing as well as them right now. Just what they've been able to do since Dan got there. This is a heavyweight foursome here. I mean, these are elite teams, elite programs, players that are a variety of ages, but the young people don't play young. And they don't play scared, and they're not going to be scared on this. And that's one of the cool things is even the young players have played on big stages in front of big television crowds, in front of big arenas or football fields, and it just it's international. It's a lot of people that are going to be flexing out there. This is going to be a really fun tournament.
I don't really like when people say they learn from losses more than any other game, because we're not a team that does that. We go back to watch the film after a win, after a loss, after anything, and we pick apart our vulnerabilities and we get in the gym, we work on those things. So yeah, we learn from those losses, but we've also learned from every single win this year. So we don't really approach that much differently other than they found some vulnerabilities. It's great to see somebody do that to us earlier on in the season rather than to end our season, and we're ready to get back in the gym and attack those things and keep growing from that. And it's something this group is really great at. We're still growing even at this point in the season when there's 4 teams left. So we're ready to get in the gym today too and keep growing just like we've done throughout the entire season.
Let's go to the first row on the edge here.
Yeah, I'm Steve Berkowitz from USA Today and the Austin American Statesman. Izzy, you spoke about defending in practice against your own teammates. I'm wondering sort of what that's like, the height that your team has. It's exceptional and very different from anybody else, and I'm wondering what that's like for you guys training against that.
It's great to train against. It's a great experience. It's fun to see what another team sees from that perspective. Not only is our front court tall and great blockers with a lot of speed, but our back court also does a lot of work back there that doesn't get as much recognition, but I think deserves it. So working those two things together, we're a great defensive team. It's hard to set against, it's hard to hit against, it's hard to serve against. It's something we're still working at though, so I'm excited for us to get back in the gym today, like I said.
Let's go to the back row to Joey.
Coach Sheffield, you mentioned at the start the welcoming and the hospitality. What was it like last night, the welcome you received, and what do these things mean to the student athletes in terms of, obviously you're here to win matches, but the overall experience that you're going to get here and how they're treated and how they're made to feel, special with everything that's been going on here?
To be in the presence of pirates is pretty cool. The club kids, I mean, that was awesome. I think any time that you can get people to dream big things is, to walk off the plane and see a bunch of younger players that were there, and I'm sure these guys were thinking about being their age and what that could be like of standing outside of a plane and watching people that you look up to that are playing the game at the highest level coming down and having that moment. It was cool. Did I answer that whole question?
Yeah.
Right.
And
Yeah.
just beyond that, just the way they're treated here, and even beyond the matches, what this experience is going to be like for your players.
It feels like a big time event, and it should. It's been fun to watch the evolution and the growth of that, where it's more than just a match. It's a celebration. It's in combination with the ABCA convention and the Fan Fest and everything else. I mean, if you're a fan of volleyball, if you're a fan of sport, is there a better place in the world to be than Tampa this week?
Let's go front row center here, please.
Dennis Punzel, Wisconsin State Journal. First for MJ and Izzy, if you could both talk on this. You guys have been here a long time, but you were still probably in middle school when Wisconsin and Texas played a decade ago. That match set a tenor for a program that you become aware of as you were part of this for a long time? How many times have you seen highlights of that? And how does that carry on a decade later with you guys? How aware are you?
Yeah, I think, let's see, 10-year anniversary of that. So I was 11 at the time. So can't really remember exactly where I was probably watching that, but I mean,
I thought that was the year you committed.
Oh, you're so right. I can't believe, yeah, no, you're right. But Anne-Marie Hickey, who is the libero on that team, is still a part of this program, and you know, it's the same exact staff. Kelly, you've been here that whole time now, right? Like that was your first year.
Yeah.
And so I think that just has really just like set a standard of how we're going to operate from then on. Like we're going to have really high goals. We're going to go about things a certain way, and even just having the experience of Anne as a player, just on the court, her being in those moments helps a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, we got to celebrate that this year in our own gym and bring a lot of them back, and we got to talk to them about their experiences and with them and the funny things and also the hard things and what they went through in their time and how they felt getting to the Final Four and actually the final when they were so underrated throughout the entire season, and just to see their story and their work ethic is something we look up to a lot, and it's something that we kind of fall back on a lot when you don't really know what way to go to bring back their experience is something that we talk about a lot and we talk to them about a lot, and we're really grateful that a lot of them are going to be here and they still support our program and watch us and communicate with us throughout that.
Let's go back row aisle, please.
Lee from volleyballmag.com. Kelly, assuming you agree with me that it's broken, how would you fix or change the challenge/replay delay problem?
Well, I don't think we've got a perfect example of how they're doing it internationally. We've got to get to that point. It's it's a question of finances, but we've got to find a way to get to that where the game has to take center stage. And there's too long a period of time where the game is not taking center stage. I think every official out there would agree they would rather be invisible. And we've got to continue to make decisions and investments and all those things to help them become more invisible during a match.
We'll go middle row in the end there,
Did
please.
I miss it?
Daniel, 6 rotations. For Izzy and MJ, I'm curious, aside from Sarah, right, Skinner and Wennis kind of lead the rest of the field in out-of-system balls. So from a defensive perspective, how does it change your preparation knowing that this is a team that's going to take a rip 80% of the time, 75% of the time, regardless of whether it's out-of-system or not?
I would say, like you recognize how great of players they are. Like Kelly has mentioned before, like their roster from top to bottom are a bunch of competitors. And so what that means for us is just there's no point in time when you can let up. No matter where the ball's being set from, no matter how out of system, no matter who passes, you have to be on and you have to be using every opportunity.
I agree. I also think that we're a team that moves on quickly. Just understanding that every team that's left right now is going to take some big rips. Texas is going to take some big rips. They're going to get their points. But if we move on quickly and together, that we'll be in the right mental space for that.
Go back to the back row there, please.
Sarah, your path here was not smooth from a health standpoint. Considering all of that, how meaningful is it for you to be able to have a moment like this, and also how meaningful is it for you to be back in your home state?
Yeah, means everything. Looking back at the summer, I can't fathom how that was all able to play out up until now. That just goes to show how much hard work every single one of these girls has put in to keep pushing me to be the best and to come back even better than I was before. And it's really, really exciting to see that, especially being able to come back to my hometown. I have so many people coming to this match, and it's very exciting that worked out so well, and it definitely pushed me to become a better volleyball player, a better person, just all around.
Let's go back to back row here on the edge.
Thank you. For the setters, so like when somebody plays Wisconsin and they're hitting against them, or the setters are setting their hitters, they got to contend with Anna and Carter, who are so good at what they do. You're playing against Asia O'Neill, who maybe is the best at blocking in the whole country. How does that affect what you guys do? I assume you've watched some video at this point.
You mentioned two of them, but we also got Cece and Devin and Tank and Temi out there that people don't look at as much for the blocking perspective. But I mean, we got a wall all the way around. So, I mean, from the setting perspective, we haven't looked too far into our game plan yet. More taking it day by day with that, and going through hitters, going through rotations, doing our normal prep work. I think it's something that we work on throughout games as well, though. We kind of evolve as games go on to see what teams have to do to defend us. Like I said, we know it's really hard to set against our team. It's really hard to set against every team that's left right now because the blocking is so high level and the defense is so high level. So, yeah, just communicating to each other and with the coaches and evolving a game plan.
I think she said that perfectly.
Stay in the same row there on the edge, row 3.
Coach, I've been Dave Neely from Gold Medal Squared. I've been fascinated with how fast offenses have been getting, and the commentators during your Oregon game were talking about how fast Oregon's offense was. As I've watched Texas the past couple years, they've been as fast as anybody. How do you prepare for fast offenses? How do you adjust once you get into it? You know, it's first set, now you're seeing this offense, this fast offense for the first time. How are those adjustments made, and how are the preparations made?
Yeah, Oregon was grease lightning. I mean, it was. I don't think I've seen anything that speed. I don't think I've seen a setter like Pukas be able to the courage that she displayed was really impressive and stressed us out in a lot of different ways. That's one of the really fun things about the NCAA tournament and as you go is that every team has the ability of stressing you out, and the stress is different from match to match, right? And where it comes from, whether it's behind the service line or their tempo or their size or the plays that they're running. It's and certainly Texas stresses you out in a very, very different way, but that stress is very real because what they do and why they're doing it and how they're doing it is at an elite level.
Go to the first row here, please.
For all the players, starting with MJ and working your way down, you're going to walk out there tomorrow with 20,000 plus. There's not going to be an empty seat. Most of them Sarah's family, so it could be a home game. What's going to be going through your mind when you walk out? Because that sound's going to be deafening.
Yeah. I think for me, it's just going to be just like a whole lot of joy. This is something you dream about, especially like maybe since I was 11 years old, committed, right? But really, it's like this is the dream. You know, you're a young girl playing club, and this is the stage you want to get to. And so it's just not backing down from the moment, just really appreciating it, like taking it all in, not trying to block anything out. And I think we've had a lot of examples of that this year, playing in the Pfizer Center, playing at home, playing on the road with sold-out crowds, just a lot of that.
I completely agree. I think mentally we prepare for these moments throughout the whole season. We do a fantastic job of just being able to take it in and enjoy it because you have to just stop for a little bit just because it is such an amazing opportunity. But being able to just get right back to it and knowing that you're just playing a volleyball game at the end of the day.
Yeah, I agree with them. I think we've prepped for this moment all season. We've had a lot of matches in big arenas that are sold out, whether it's our crowd or other crowds. And we're ready for that moment, but at the end of the day, it's volleyball, and I can speak for myself at least that even in loud crowds, I feel like I can look around and I just see my team, and I don't really hear all the extra noise.
Go to the first row here, please.
For Kelly, what stresses you most about Skinner and the challenges she presents you?
She's as dynamic of an attacker from the front row and back row as there is in the country. Her hitting percentage is higher on one option balls than three option balls. I mean, that is crazy. I don't know if I don't know if I've seen that. They're almost better passing it poorly and then getting it to her than they are staying in system and getting it to her. She's really they get her the ball a lot in the back row. That's been increasing as the season has gone on. She's a dynamic blocker, but she can get on a ball and get on it fast, quick off the floor, smooth athlete. I mean, she's as good as there's been, and and is already won 2 national championships. I mean, it's at 2 different schools. It's impressive what she's done so far in her career.
Anything further for Coach and our student athletes? We can go here, please.
For Coach, you win this and you walk into a recruit's house and you flash that national championship ring. How much does that help recruiting?
It's I don't know. It seems like people are committing before the home visits even happen anymore. That I think elite players want to be a part of and do epic things, and that's something that I think all 4 programs probably sell, and we want to be recruiting. We want to be having conversations with people that want to be on this stage, that, like MJ said, have dreamed of being on the stage. And then people that are willing to work, to put the work in, to live that dream. And does that help to be able to say, hey, we've been there, we've done that? Certainly, I would think so. Yeah, I can't see how it hurts.
Go to the middle row here, please.
All right, Kelly, I'll ask it. If you had to guess, who do you think Nebraska fans are going to root for?
Are you kidding me? The better question is there a difference between the ages of Nebraska fans, or the people that were back with the when they were shared the same conference? Do they have a different vote than the people that have only known Nebraska as a Big Ten? I have so much respect for that fan base, and there's no way in the world I'm going to get up here and tick off any of them with an answer that I've got to say.
We'll go to the edge here, please.
Sarah, for what you guys do in blocking, sort of how that sort of creates momentum in the course of a match, and you guys get on rolls and you're running points together, what is that like for you guys on the court? And like, does it create an intimidation factor that you guys are trying to create, or what do you like? What is that sense, or what you see from another team as you guys get going and you're blocking shot after shot?
I think it's awesome. I think the big block, I hit against that every day in practice, and it is a little demoralizing to get absolutely roofed by Anna or by Carter. So it's really exciting to see that in a game and just know that, they're on your team. Building off of blocking, we have so many other aspects of the game that put pressure on the other team, and then to just have another block on top of that is a lot to deal with. But I just think it's great momentum, and that just adds another aspect to our game as a whole.
Anything further for Coach? Last question. Be right here.
Thank you. Yeah, we've talked a lot about Texas players and some matchups, but Coach, if you could just emphasize 1 or 2 keys that you want to see from your team tomorrow night.
Well, I think when you get to this, I think number one is you got to be able to manage the moment and the emotions, and so part of it is not just necessarily game plan or executing. Are you at a place where you can get better as the match goes on? And if you're coming out and it has to be perfect from point one, and you're putting that kind of pressure on yourself, and not evolving and not reading the game, not learning as you go, then you're going to have really big problems. it'll be really interesting to see how these matches are played out. You're talking about four, teams that are elite defensively. I think you've got the top three blocking teams in the country, and the team that isn't in the top three, I think they lead the country in team defense. I mean, think about that. It's so defensively, but then you have people that can terminate. Multiple people that can terminate from all four teams, and there's four teams that can win in more than just one way. I've been here with teams that it needed to go a certain way for us to win, or we played teams that was their only path to winning. All four teams have multiple ways that they can win, or multiple ways that they can play the game really well. These are really full, balanced, talented teams that the complexity of what they're able to do is, I don't remember too many times where we could say that about a Final Four.
Coach, thank you. Ladies, thank you. Good luck this week.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
We'll have our next team coming in